Once a Year on Blackpool Sands is a true story that was told to me by two incredible men that I had the fortune to meet in 1984.
Well, I'm sorry, but amazing is in short supply at a Corkill.
And by the end of the story of those 3 days, I was left with this life-changing, indelible impression that has actually stuck with me all my life.
I bloody love you, Tommy Price.
Ditto.
Come here.
It is such an important story. Essentially, in a nutshell, a transvestite character, who today would be transgender, the owner of the bed and breakfast, a faded showgirl, very theatrical, her flighty daughter and her mother, Red Ethel, a communist stripper, and two gay coal miners walked from North Pier to South Pier in Blackpool in 1953, about 3 or 4 days after the Queen's coronation. The transvestite community had this hidden secret rite of passage to go to Blackpool, to dress in their female alter ego, and to walk from North to South Pier, often hidden with headscarves and hats and disguises, because the motivation was to walk this rite of passage walk from North to South Pier. And somehow, with these strange set of circumstances, Eddie Corkill, a 19-year-old gay man from Yorkshire, a coal miner, says to Mr. Elbridge, "I am going to walk with you from North to South Pier, out and proud, and you're not going to wear a hat, you're not going to wear a headscarf, you're going to walk with me, we're going to hold hands." And somehow, by the bravery of the women, the acceptance of the women who'd seen it all, who have been a secret haven for the gay community and all kinds of communities against the norm, decide to walk arm in arm from North to South Pier.
I'm playing James Elbridge. He's a transgender man who's staying at the bed and breakfast, and he's got certain conflicting feminine personalities that he tries to let out, and I think this repression of his personality is really reflective of the repression of the times in the 1950s.
I thought you'd been somewhat excited this evening, salivating over your mysterious trip to Blackpool.
All the things that used to happen in the 50s, they haven't gone away. They've just been redressed slightly in society. They're all still there. All those prejudices, they are still there. And being part of this film is a chance to fight against those prejudices.
That's who the gay community is. And Tommy and Eddie Price spent their life fighting for gay rights.
So I play Gladys Bracegirdle, and she runs the guest house in Blackpool where Tommy and Eddie go for their Wakes Week holiday. She is an absolutely brilliant character because for me she's got comedy, she's got drama, she's just a character that you can really embrace, but for anybody who comes to watch the film they'll probably see something of themselves in her because she's kind of just this normal woman who's doing her very best every day.
Get rid of that shit-stain excuse for a man. He won't ever leave her. That type never do. They want butter and margarine. Butter for best at home and something that spreads easy on the side.
We started this concept and I heard about it, and obviously it went straight into a play production. Making it into a film, I think, takes it to this wider audience and allows everyone to celebrate the film and celebrate the story. And I just think people need to get on board with this. And the minute they see information around it, they might watch this trailer, for example, this interview. We are already in production. We have started the film. This story is going to be told.
When I was at drama school, a friend of mine, he was attacked and badly beaten because he was a young gay man, and he ended up in intensive care, and because of that, when he eventually came out of hospital, he didn't continue in his career. He went back home to where he lived because it just affected him so much. And that, I mean, for his mother to have to go to hospital and see her son in intensive care beaten so badly just because the boy is gay, I can't imagine it. It would just be awful. My character is Alice Price, and I'm the mother of Tommy Price. She's a strong woman. She's a typical miner's wife.
What's this then? Welcome wagon. Could you be any more obvious, our Betty? I'm off to see our Joe. What with your dad getting under my feet, and I've 101 things to do before tomorrow. Only place I can get any peace in this family is in bloody cemetery.
Obviously, she loves her children, and she loves Tommy very much. She knows about Tommy being gay. She knew before Tommy did.
Tell her, Tommy, I need a word.
It's the 1950s. It's illegal. There's a lot of prejudice against gay men and women. In fact, even to this day there still is. But in the 1950s, obviously, it was a lot worse.
Eddie, he's had a very different childhood to Tommy. Tommy's always grown up with a loving family, loving brothers, loving mum and dad. Eddie has basically grown up with nobody, purely abuse from his father and then neglect from his mother. So Tommy is the only real person that Eddie has to hold on to, and that is why I think there's that desire and the frustration that he needs to break out from where he is right now in this small town in Yorkshire where nothing ever changes.
This story is going to be told and it will go to the cinema, and I would love people to just get behind it. I think give a little, give a lot. Purely because when we're in production and we're actually filming some of these fantastic scenes of this true story, you know, this heartbreaking true story, we don't want to have to make decisions based on pound, shilling and pence, you know, to say, is that in or is that out, depending on the purse strings. It would be really lovely to have that support from the public, really, to allow us to bring it there and it's into cinema in the most glorious technicolor, in the most exacting way, to make the best film possible, because that's what this story deserves.